Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. It is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But we were missing on Wednesday because we were doing our 2-day RadioThon. But we do have other podcasts, especially as you're about to embark on your vacations for the holidays, or even if you're doing a staycation.
Yeah.
You can always listen to Miguel and Holly's Blown Off, Miguel and Holly's Full Show, Miguel and Holly's Queen City Confessions, if you like drama and tea. And also spread the word to other people. It helps us grow the show.
Yes.
So, day after 2 days of broadcasting for 13 hours straight.
Yeah.
How's everyone feeling?
Tired.
I want to go home.
I'm tired.
I want to go home.
Good though. I mean, obviously, whenever we do anything, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my computer right for the online portion of this. Just bear with me. Anyway, I always feel like anytime we do something like this, it reminds me of the coolest part of being in this job.
Yes.
Because it's the opportunity, like it's just an opportunity, and that I think, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, are really good at being able to take an opportunity and make it the most that it can be. And I mean, this was instilled in me long ago, truly from 2005 Hurricane Katrina. And it was my PD at the time who was like, we have to do something. Now, mind you, we were in Ohio, okay? And so we don't know a lot about what's going on in New Orleans or Louisiana or whatever, nor do we like often do cross-country type things. But it was so huge and it was so massive. And he's like, we have to do something. That he organized this situation where he and one of our promotions guys literally we posted up in the radio station parking lot for like 4 days or 5 days, 24/7. Like someone had to be manning it overnight. And we were in an unrated tiny market. Like we were outside of Toledo, but like the actual city we were in was not a market size. That's how small it was. And not only did we do it, but we partnered with the competition radio stations to do it together.
Wow.
That never happens.
This is not a thing that happens because everybody wants their own credit where credit is due. And so it doesn't happen, but we did and we were with Clear Channel iHeart at the time, and they were like, do what you want because we don't really care about your market. But we got with the competition. So everybody was somehow at some shift would be manning the 24 hours outside of our radio station, and we collected food and items and money and all this stuff. And after those 5 days, my actual PD and another guy got into a semi truck and actually drove everything down to New Orleans and distributed it.
It's so funny. That would never happen right now because they wouldn't allow you to partner with the competition. And then because of insurance purposes, they couldn't drive it.
No. Well, he was the guy that was actually had his CDL and drove truck for his second job because everybody has a second job.
Right.
So he actually was qualified to drive it. However, the company would never have allowed, you know what I mean? But that was 2005, so things were different. But after that experience and just going through that, I was like, this is the greater part of radio. I get it now. Like, it's not just, we get to talk on the air, we get to be famous, we get to make jokes, and we get to do blah, 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 meet artists. This is the real reason radio exists.
That's the root of our job, is uplifting our community.
Correct.
And like you said, like, we have a platform. It's not just to do a bunch of dick jokes and then just laugh and have a great day. Like, it is to uplift the community that we live in and make it a better place and uplift the voices that are here too. So 100%.
Yes. And so that's really what kicked it off. And that's why when we do things like this radiothon, it's like you get back to the real radio roots.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know this. I mean, this is a podcast, so it's not on the radio, but you found us through the radio. But like our company, iHeart Radio, does not own the 96.1 signal. Our previous company that we all worked for does not own those signals. We, the people, own those, which is why the government, and that's part of your responsibility as a broadcaster, is to serve your community.
Right.
Also tell dick jokes and talk about drama and tea and get ratings and revenue and all that stuff. But at the base of it, that's what it comes back to. Kelvin, did you ever have a moment when you were in Miami, starting your career, where y'all got to, you basically started during the pandemic when you really got into your career?
Pandemic was your thing.
That was your moment.
Even before. So we have constant hurricanes in South Florida. And so one of them had to do with Maria, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maria was that basically wiped a lot of Puerto Rico.
Yes, it was Maria with Puerto Rico because, I remember. And it was like the entire lights were shut off in Puerto Rico for weeks and months.
Yeah,
maybe.
100%. And so I don't think I was a part of that. That was before I got into radio. My cousin and I did a social media initiative where we were like, hey, we'll go to your house and pick up items and donate it to a location. So that was before radio, but I don't know why I mixed those two.
But you had the spirit of wanting to serve.
Yeah. I did that right before getting hired at my first radio job. But we had MSD. We had the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting.
That's it.
And we did blood drives. Lots of blood drives, lots of conversations. We ended up making, I can't remember specifically. I think we made like handwritten cards, and I think we got in contact with all of our schools, and we made sure that we made decorations for Marjorie Stoneman Douglas when they opened back up, and we did a lot of things for Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. I'll never forget that.
One event that is like the first event that you're like, oh, that's what it was. What was yours, Miguel?
Yeah. Mine was actually college radio. When we, in my little college,
was it the bomb threat?
No.
Damn
well, yes. Well, that's what started the whole thing. But we were like on the air I was at the radio station, the college station, on a Saturday, and the phone was ringing, and no one was on the air. It was just music. But I was there because I was the station manager. No, I was the assistant station manager. And I picked it up, and that's when someone was like, I think there's a bomb in Walmart. And then that's when I dumbly got on the air, and I was like, is there a bomb at Walmart?
Well, that's a lesson.
Right. And that's when I learned you don't put stuff on the radio that you don't have the facts about.
Sure.
Because the FBI called and said, why are y'all saying this? But what it ended up happening was that there was no bomb, but there was a hostage situation at a law office there in Statesboro, Georgia. And so that's when we sent Courtney J. We sent her down there, and she stayed there longer than the local newspaper and even the Savannah TV stations, because we're about 45 minutes outside of Savannah. The local TV stations came up to cover it, and she was out there the entire time on the scene, and we were in the studio the entire night giving updates. And because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We had taken journalism classes, so we were like, all right, we need to get experts on. So we were calling around to who can we talk to? Can we talk to other lawyers about this? And we were just brainstorming off the air, how can we help the community? And so we had so many people after that who stayed up listening to the radio more than TV, because we were the only media source that gave updates overnight, because that's how long the entire situation went. So we called it, because we were working with Kramer. He was the program director, and I was his assistant. This is the guy we used to work with in Panama City. And that's when we both realized that we loved radio, because we were it was a scary situation, but we were it's time to activate. This is our moment.
We're heroes.
By the way, I just wrote down your crisis activation moment. That's the title of the podcast.
Yes. Okay. And that was it. And I think, let's see, this was 2000. I think we called it Hostage Standoff 2006. And I think we had special things made where it was Hostage Standoff 2006 on 91.9 The Buzz, Georgia Southern's 10 in a row station.
Which it blows my mind, because my college station experience is not your college station experience. That is ours was some dinky do it was not. It was a legit real radio station, but we were not allowed to do any of that.
Yeah.
The craziest thing we could do was post up and do a remote for the homecoming parade. We weren't putting on a morning show.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody was putting on a show. They were just having shifts. And anyway, that's fine.
Yeah. No, we did that. And so we were on the air all day. And then I remember learning.
Wait a second. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
Who was the adult in charge of this?
We were.
But who was the?
I mean, we had an advisor,
Yes.
but
Where was this person? Like, who was in charge of the radio station? They just let students run it?
well, because we knew that we were serious and we wanted to do it, and we were all broadcasting majors.
But they still let kids run the radio station.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Mhm.
Because like our advisor did everything and then put student managers in place.
Yeah.
But like ultimately there was an adult broadcasting professor in charge of everything.
Same with mine.
We'll see, but at our school, if my memory serves me correctly, like the process to become the program director or the station manager, whatever we called it, it was a pretty intensive process. Because I remember like Kramer or Steven, Kramer back then was like training me on how to apply. So I remember like throughout that entire year, because he was kind of absent because he was working. He had started working in Savannah full time in radio, doing a night show. And so I basically was like just not getting paid, but doing his job the second semester. And so I like spent all second semester before I applied, creating a plan of action for the radio station for the next year. I even had like a succession plan of like, I'm going to do the morning show with these people. We're going to hire like freshmen and sophomores to do the night show. So at least one person will take over for us to do the morning show once we're done for the next year, so we can keep the line of succession going. And like we had a board of directors where they would come down from Atlanta because they were all broadcasters who were alumni of the school. And you would have to like interview in front of them over the course of a couple of days. So, I mean, after all that, like they knew that you weren't just some like kid who just walked up and was just like, I want to be on the radio. Like you had to, like, this was your passion. Now, I don't know if it's like that now, but back then, so that's why they trusted us to do that, because we all took it pretty seriously.
Got it. I had to ask that because it's just, I don't know if that's the norm. It might be, and maybe Kelvin and I's experience is not.
I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's like that now, but I know at that, and a lot of us that were like that period of time at Georgia Southern University, like a lot of us work in broadcasting. So I don't know if it's, I mean, I've been there since then, and their broadcasting facilities are like what we have now. And I'm like, you lucky mother, because the stuff that we had, girl, when we would have someone call in, when we had callers call in, the callers could only hear us from the main microphone. So whenever someone would call in,
I think that's correct for mine too.
My co-host, because I think there was 4 of us on the morning show, I would have to stand up with my microphone and be like, yeah, so tell me about it. And then I have to move the microphone to Jamie Lynn and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I think that was maybe how ours was too, but like there would be no reason for there to be multiple people on the air.
Well, when you're in college in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like the technology wasn't there, you know?
Oh, you about to get your butt beat.
Yikes.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Chrissy Craddock said, my college had a radio station and the students ran it. I had the best time hanging in the station room, helping pick the vinyls to play. It was just a room in the basement of the music building.
Oh.
Yes. See, and even like in Atlanta, one of the, I think it's Georgia State, I believe, they have a station that, like, I always thought that those kids were so lucky that they got to be on the radio, not a commercial station, but it's a big stick. That means the signal covers a large part of Atlanta.
Wattage.
Yes. And I'm like, those kids were so lucky that they got to do that.
That's
but
true,
anyway.
they are. Anyway, so
the RadioThon was great.
13 minutes later, the RadioThon was cool and we like doing it.
Yes.
And Holly, how much money? Actually, no. You got to go look at our Instagram to go see that.
Yeah.
Really?
Kelvin put a lot of work into all the, by the way, Kelvin.
Yes.
Excellent job.
Fantastic job.
Yes, I've had some people reach out to me and be like, who did that? Because they were following along. You did such a great job chronicling every step of the way. So if people missed a part of it on the air, they could follow along with social media. Okay. And you also made it interesting, not just like, here's a random video that you can barely hear the audio. Like you produced it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really top notch.
There was some really great moments that you guys had, and it's really great to have that confidence of like, film it. Like now I know. So now I it's great to have that working relationship, because the first time we did this, I was with you guys for just a few months, and granted, like this was the first super huge community event that we ever did together. So I didn't know, like I wouldn't know your triggers of crying or anything like that. But now that we know, it's fucking rocking chairs. What else? Miguel's first break before 7 a.m. Like, I don't know. It just, there was a comfort of knowing when was the right time to get the good moments and the great moments to post.
And
so
you're on it.
Because you know that my ass will always be like, why the fuck did you miss one of us having a breakdown on the air? Because that's what that's for. Like, our emotion is to get people to donate to this children's hospital.
Absolutely.
And so if you miss a moment, I would be more pissed if you missed a moment than you catching a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many beautiful moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the best, like, it was off the air. We didn't get a chance to chat about it, but I don't remember what the little girl is dealing with, but the one that came down to perform, and we did like a whole off the air break.
So
what was
she
her?
had a spinal cord injury.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 6 or 7, they said. So she had a spinal cord injury. She had to have some kind of surgery. Might have been like a brain surgery. She's in what they call a halo, but you've seen it. You listening, like picture this. So in order to keep your head and neck steady, you have this entire thing that's sort of connected to a wheelchair where they have to drill holes in your skull a little bit in your forehead and run like a piece of metal to like hold you still.
Right.
Am I making sense?
No, 100%.
So they put that on your head and they lock it in so that you can't move. And like you can move you can't move your head from side to side or really at all. You are locked in so that your spine can heal.
Yeah.
So she had that on, and she had a trach, which is like something has happened where you have to have a hole drilled into your trachea, and that piece of plastic holds it open so that you can breathe correctly. And then they also feed you through that tube as well, so that you can't really speak. You've seen the smoking commercials where they're like, I have the thing that I have to talk like this.
Right.
Because you can't really use your voice box much at all either. And so she had that, and she's locked into this wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like this tiny 6-year-old girl whose spirit was untenable. Like she was told that the radio people were there.
And so she was like, because part of her therapy is music therapy, and she likes to sing, she likes to perform. And so they were like, hey, it was like a miscommunication where we thought we were going to be able to have her on the air, but we were so tight that second day.
Yeah.
And so they were like, she just wants to come in and perform for you all.
Yeah.
And wants to be on the quote unquote radio. So we had her come down and we put our headphones on, and they had a little keyboard set up for her. And I was like, all right, producer Kelvin, count us down till we're on the air. And then we did the whole, applause, and we did the intro. We introduced her, and her and the musical therapist did a song from Moana. And just watching the joy, even though you could tell she was nervous because she's probably just used to her and the musical therapist doing it. But
suddenly she's like, and she does perform on Fridays in front of like the different kids in the hospital.
Yes.
Right,
But like
right.
now you're in a radio studio.
Right,
There's
and you're
like
on the radio.
people,
But
there's a microphone. Yeah.
yes, but just the look of joy, a little bit of fear, but that's also part of performing too, because there's always a little fear that gives that energy when you're in front of people. And I was like, this is one of the best moments we've had here, even though it's off the air. No one will ever see it, but like that moment will always stick out to me.
For sure.
It was her smile at the end.
Yes.
I think I have the video.
I hope, because
so.
I really was picturing Maya, because Maya's a singer, dancer, performer too. And this little girl was so positive and spirited, and such a beautiful little girl. And so she gets done, what she's doing, like playing a little bit of the piano and like trying to sing. And I was like, I think that's like maybe the best version of this song, which truly, I wasn't lying. Like, if you're going to fight through all of that to perform it,
Right.
it is the best version of the song that I've heard.
Right.
And her face lit up.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God, this girl is dealing with so much. And
Precious little angel.
we can just provide an opportunity for her to feel good about herself.
Right. And I think, because I mean, to be 100% honest, when like this whole thing came to us when we got here and they're like, hey, would y'all be interested in raising funds for Living Children's Hospital because they're looking for a new partner? And of course, I would always say yes. But there was, to be transparent, like we always are, there was a little bit of me that was a little hesitant because, like you just don't know when it comes to people being disabled or sick. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to like make them feel a certain way. Like, so I was just like, I don't want to, because of my uncomfortability, I don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable. And so I was like, well, Miguel, just fucking suck it up and be an adult and deal with it. But like, when you see that these kids are so, they can just overcome so much and they're just looking for happiness and they're looking for joy. It's like you can't help but to feel it and feed off of it, and you want to reciprocate back to them.
Yeah.
And so like whenever they would come in and like if the kids were sick or the parents, and to me that's why I always find sometimes could be a little uncomfortable. Like if a caller calls in to the show and they're going through something tragic or sad, I can easily help you or listen. But when like you have a parent, and especially that one parent, Laura, who came in, and she's in the midst of her child going through a stroke and trying to balance life and her daughter, her 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Like just your humanness comes out. And it was like, it wasn't even radio. Like I remember when we started, we were like, hey, we got 3 minutes. So you gotta like tell it. And then when she started talking, I didn't even look at my phone once.
No.
Because I was like, this is a fucking human being that is going through this tragedy right now. But she is loving the experience for her daughter going through this tragedy because of the staff in this hospital, that she wants to give her story so people can donate.
Yeah.
You can't help but to just want to do everything you can to make them feel comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. It becomes, we get in our heads, but then you're in real life with someone and you're like, oh, I got it.
Right.
I got it.
It's really brave. Like, I'll have a bad day and I want to just hide from the world. I cannot even, that's not even anything relatively close to what Laura was going through, is going through. And she still managed to get on there, share her story. So,
yeah,
I don't know, kudos to her.
Yeah. Sought us out.
Right.
So, amazing.
What I would like to do at some point over the next week or so is because normally on the RadioThon, because a lot of the times we're talking, it's just trying to get people to call in and it's not worth listening back to. But I want to get some of those moments and put them together as like these are the special moments that make this so worthwhile. Because that just Laura story, and actually I think we have it posted.
Are you talking about on video, you mean?
No, like the audio part as like a podcast of like, here are these stories. Like here's why we do what we do for Living Children's Hospital. But that's something I want to work on because I just was like, this is such a powerful, and she communicated her story so well.
She did, because you don't know how someone is going to be able to communicate when they're in it.
Right.
And actually, I don't know if she normally is or not, but she was a great communicator at that moment in time.
I want to make a quick shift before we close out the podcast. Does anyone have anything else they would like to say about the RadioThon?
No, not about the RadioThon. It was awesome. It was awesome. And thank you to those who contributed.
I'm very proud of you guys. You guys are a masterclass at what you do, and it is a privilege to be able to see that again for a second year. You guys are fucking amazing, and it should be studied. Such great work.
I don't know if I'm tired, but that makes me
it's definitely tired, bitch. You never cry at anything I say. No. I compliment you. You just keep going. So yeah, you tired.
Super nice.
It's cool
to
though.
Say like
that means a lot. That really means a lot. Thank you.
It is.
Well, fuck you, bitch. I was about to talk about.
Damn.
Well, now you got me tearing up.
Yeah.
Jesus!
Everybody just loving on everybody.
Oh my God. Well, I do want to say, I just want to put this on the podcast record. I still want to know where those fucking chicken tenders are. Because they bought a platter of Publix chicken tenders.
No, it was, yeah, that was bad.
And I was full. So, because we had a late breakfast and I only got one. And then they put them away. And then when I wanted to get one, I was like, where are the chicken tenders?
But what's funny, and this is what makes Miguel Miguel, like, if that had happened to me, I'd be like, oh no, I missed the chicken tenders. And I would have not given it a second thought.
That bitch fell asleep.
Later, a full ass 24 hours later.
That
and
bitch-
that's one of the first things that Miguel said to me this
He
morning.
fell asleep. He woke up,
Woke up,
drove here.
Yeah.
And he gets here earlier than us.
Yeah.
Thought about it.
put a show together.
Put a show together. Did the show. Talked about it. Still thinking about it.
The chicken tenders.
No, it was a lot of chicken. It was delicious.
I just hope they
was-
didn't throw it away. Like, I
think they
hope-
did.
I hope they
I
did.
think
It
they
wasn't-
did.
I'm sorry. Well, they are a hospital, so maybe they know better. But like, I personally don't think that it would have gone bad in that time.
I mean,
I don't think so either.
Right.
Because
Because
it's already fucking cold.
You can keep chicken out for longer than they had it out.
listen, I don't know if you can keep like a grilled chicken breast out, but I have had chicken tenders on a boat in Florida in the sun
Yeah, no, yeah.
for hours. And when we were drunk getting off the water, still bit into that bitch. And it was the best thing I ever had.
Still crunchy.
Exactly.
Still delicious. Like my family, when we used to go to the amusement, like there was a amusement park called Jog Lake, and we would go for the day, like once a summer or whatever. We would bring a bucket of chicken, a
Mhm.
bucket of cold ass fried chicken, and it would sit out all day
Mhm.
long. And then we'd have to leave the park to go to the little picnic area because my mother was not buying food in there. So we go out and eat the fried chicken, and it was fine.
I'm
so
just
we're all
saying.
clear.
I really hope they didn't. But you're right. It is a hospital. So they were like somebody probably like had a clock on it, and they're like, oh, it's been about
This
2.5
isn't
hours. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Like they're going to err on the side of caution. They're a hospital.
I mean,
How
as they
could you
should.
imagine
Right.
if someone got sick from chicken at a hospital? They would never recover. Like you. So it's not. It would have lasted for longer. But they can't have that PR.
Food provided.
Anyway,
All right, there's something. That's not it. There is breaking news that I wanted to share with you all. Hold on. I wanted to try to find a video. I think I can. Not in enough time.
Ooh.
Well,
Tell us.
breaking news: the U.S. House of Representatives expels George Santos in an historic vote.
well, of course they did.
Fucking loser.
They had to.
Well,
No, but they had to. They had the receipts. They had the receipts.
the House voted Friday to expel Representative George Santos, aka Joanna the Scammer, ending
Stop
the
it.
New York Republicans' tumultuous tenure in Congress and officially etching his name in the history books as the 6th lawmaker ever to be ousted from the lower chamber. The extraordinary move, unseen in 20 years, took 3 attempts over 6 months and required support from large numbers in both parties to meet the inflated threshold, 2/3 of the chamber for expelling a sitting member. That's
Bye.
huge.
It is because it was so warranted. And I saw Jim Jeffries.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No. No. Who was that North Carolina man?
Damn it, Holly. Now you fuck. Hold on. Jacob Jackson. John Jacob.
I'm fucking done.
Wait,
Stop.
Jacob Jackson.
Jacob?
Jacob Jackson.
Are you sure?
Oh wait, no, this is just a random person on Instagram.
You are so
Wait,
with your whole chest.
It's Jeff. An LFA. It is Jeff.
Jacob 2 times. This is Jacob 2 times.
wait.
What is his
Anyway, I know. Just
name?
keep talking, saying what you're about to say. I'm looking. Jackson.
We're so tired. We're so tired.
Jeff Jackson.
Jeff Jackson.
Anyway, listen. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I know what you're going to say.
He said he had to keep voting no.
Holly,
I can't.
grab some tissue.
Okay, listen.
You know what? We just need to end this. We just hear some tissue.
Wait a
There you
minute.
go.
He said you have to wait until you have proof.
Right.
Because that's how the law works in this land. Like you
Yes.
can't just be like, I heard some bad shit about him. Like we all know it, but like you have to wait until you have the proper, it has to go through the proper channels. And so obviously we all knew was going to happen, and we just had to wait till we had the receipts, and that's what happened.
Joanna the scammer's gone, y'all.
Bye. The first drag queen ever
Look at
in the
that.
United States.
Girl, they don't claim him.
No,
Real
they
quick, we got some questions. Holly
Yeah.
from Stephen Rossi. Have you gotten your DNA results from Teddy?
We have.
We'll reveal them on Monday.
Oh.
Sorry, we ain't got time.
Oh, no.
Chrissy Craddock. Sorry, off topic. Just curious, before you leave, are any of you going to the ACC championship game to watch FSU take on Louisville? Go Noles.
I'm
Holly?
sorry.
Never
no,
knows.
The game already happened, Chrissy. It was Ohio State, Michigan, and Ohio State lost it like a bunch of
Go
losers.
Gators,
Oh.
first of all.
That's okay. Michigan was good this year.
No,
But Kelvin, are you going?
no.
No.
Why would I
I don't know.
ever?
Go Southern.
Actually, no. I like sports.
I like sports.
I don't care for them,
I don't care.
but I like going to them.
I don't care about FSU.
Okay,
FSU.
we gotta Holly. We have to cut some
Go
lines, and you
Gators.
got to get to the airport.
I
Holly.
do. Also, Heather, we got your Christmas gifts, and we
Yes.
holy mother.
Oh, we're
my
gonna post a video
goodness.
later, but yes, thank you,
Yes.
Heather. All right, Holly, what's your social media people can find you?
Radio Holly.
Producer Calvin,
Kelvin Live.
Miguel Fuller everywhere. We will see you all on Monday. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app.